All right, welcome back, everyone. So today we're taking a look at the TAC. This is the first time I've got it in hand. If you have the TAC and you have the PTU access, which is open all waves, you can get in there and check it out now. So that being said, one of the first thing I noticed, I will go start towards the back. We'll start through the garage area or the lift in the back. However, I just noticed, and it's easier to tell here, but first of all, I do like that you can only you can open one door at a time back here compared to the max. When you open the back or that middle section, both of them open at the same time. So it'd be cool if they kind of add that in the max. But anyways, here nor there. That being said, when it comes to this actual like ramp thing here, it is strictly just like drop zone. You can't get back in here. So maybe I'm missing something here, but since again they talked a little bit about this at Bar Citizen, but there's only two, it's either up or down, right? There's only two settings for any particular door. So yeah, just be mindful of that. If you plan on getting out of your ship there, leave another door open, or you know, at least have, you can just technically go through the front or whatever again. But anyways, yeah, just be mindful of that. All right, that being said, one of the questions people had for me was the Furies, and so you can get two to fit back here. So my thought process here is that you can have a Fury in the hangar bay, and then you can have a couple Furies back here, and then you can use these to restock your main Fury. So if you die, you can respawn in the beds behind us when we take a look at medical here in a minute. But upon doing so, you can just go ahead and pull one of these out. And I did just tractor beam these in here. It was a little wonky getting them in here, but you can see I was able to get them in here. So you would then pull one of these out and put it up in the hangar bay and then go about your day. That being said, these doors do go up to the hangar bay. They show up in a similar place. I'll just go ahead and show them once we get up there where they appear, but they appear in the same spot essentially as they do with the Max. Medical bay looks pretty cool in here. Sorry, been a long day at work. Pretty cool, interesting spot in here. I was in here before. This is my second shoot at this, so no snackies in here like I saw before in the video, but it'd be cool. I imagine they'll add that at some point. There is the storage access up here. So it is 650k SCUs, so it's not a full SCU. So this is 65% of a 1 SCU box. And you will find that to be the standard kind of in all the different storage areas that we have. We have 8 upstairs as well. So quite a bit of storage here when you compare it to the Max. The Max itself only has a couple storage areas in the room, but it doesn't have a medical bay like this. So it just doesn't, I mean, you could bring boxes though. So it's kind of a nil point if you want to bring boxes, but I do like the amount of storage that's available here without having to bring SCU boxes with you. Medical beds. These are tier 3s, as mentioned before. I mean, or at least as offered by the concept or announced with the concept. They have these doors in front. I don't know what they're for. Possibly batteries at some point. Maybe you need to have batteries in order to power these beds. That would make sense. But anyways, kind of cool. But I don't know what they do. That you can't do anything with those currently. Let me know. Maybe I'm missing something here. But yeah. Again, we started in this room. The cool part about this too is there are weapon racks in between the seats, kind of a la Valkyrie style. So there are going to be 4 racks in here on each side, so 8 total, as well as 8 seats. And they are for rifles. I don't see any pistols. Oh, there's storage. Are there storage down here? Oh, that's wild. There's so much more storage on this ship. It's also 650. So there is, I'm going to do a rough calculation on this. I have seen 650, there's 8 upstairs, and there's 8 here, times 16, and I missed the other 2. So 650 times 18 really is. There are 8 here on each seat. There's 8 lockers upstairs, and there's 2 in the medical bay. That's 11 SCUs. Almost 12 SCUs and just straight up in internal ship storage. That's wild. I mean, relatively speaking, compared to other ships, I don't even, that might be better than like the Carrack. I'd have to go back and compare those, but that's pretty good, right? Like compared to something like the Max, where the Max just has a couple storage areas in the rooms. All of these are 650k. Again, to me, I like the idea of just taking this out to do bunkers, taking it out to do things. Now that you can jump to your ships is not as relevant because you're not going to have a ship that has a jump drive, but the option of being able to get back to it should be marked is still going to be pretty good. So you could kind of leave it somewhere, go off and do a mission in the Fury, and then come back and get to it again. Turrets. So I did set the power on, and I did set full max power to guns. So let's just take a look and see what we're looking like for the 2 Galderines. So this is going to be the size 5 Galderines, which are the laser repeaters. And let's take a look at the ammo. It was 19. Oh my goodness. All right, so 115. Like that's maxed out. So you're not going to get more out of that, but I mean, not bad there. Ooh, you know what I should have looked at? And we'll take a look. Let me hop back in. We'll see how much of the angle. Now, I already know that it's not 100%. You know, the turret does come out a bit, kind of like the Polaris does, although the Polaris, the turret goes like much more inside of the ship than what's being kind of portrayed here. It has its own like almost like a docking section, if you will. This isn't coming out quite that much, but let's see what the angle is looking like. So to the left here is going to be up front, I think. No, this is the front. So you can see this is how much you're missing. You're off the angle there for shooting. So if someone, it would probably be better if we were out and I can actually angle down more. It can angle down more than I'm showing here. But anyways, yeah. Also, don't know why it's not showing as much ammo here. Oh, it's only shooting one gun too. Hey, did I tell you this is the PTU? So yeah, I don't know what's going on here. This turret is scuffed. It doesn't have as much ammo and only one gun shooting. I was also slamming the turret on the ground, so I mean, I could have broke it. So anyways, that's what I was going to say before. I mean, I'm thinking maybe the PTU live will go live today. PT will go live today, but maybe they'll have to keep PT around to do some testing like this on the TAC. Although everyone's going to be playing live, so I don't know how much testing will actually get done. Here's the elevator down to get outside. This is your main elevator to get in and out of the ship. And this is the hatch here. Well, really, it's just a docking port. And then you have the stairs to get up to the next floor, which we'll take in a minute. And here we have our suit lockers. And in this case, there are just 8 straight up suit lockers in here. Previously, I think there is just 1 weapon rack in here as well, with fewer suit lockers in the max. But there is no extra storage and stuff in here. But again, so far I've been very impressed with the amount of storage I see around the ship. All right, let's head up. That is a little bit of change there. This area here is going to be relatively unchanged, just like it was right down below. There's some component access here to some components that are obviously not in the game yet. And then you have escape pods. Interestingly enough, only 4 still, so pretty much enough for the crew. If you have extra people with you, like the 8 downstairs, best of luck, start swimming. Obviously you can't really swim in space, but anyways. Getting in the pilot seat, just to take a look. Again, you can see I've got max power to shields. Let's take a look at what I don't know if these are Omni cannons, but these are laser cannons, so there's going to be a little bit less ammo here. And they are 38. Additionally, obviously, it's just still a problem with why don't they have these displays up a bit. I feel like they used to have top ones up here at some point, but they just have not had those for a while. So would love to see them bring those in or at all. Would be nice. As well as just these are fairly useless down here, at least with me with my common man screen, which I think is, I mean, it's a fine size. I think it's like 24. So it's not a lot, but it's, you know, it's average, okay? And I make do with what I got. At the end of the day, I think that's probably mixed with, again, the viewing angle here is not great either. So those are my 2 biggest cons with the ship. Otherwise, everything else I like a lot so far. I guess the other con too is flying it. You're going to find that it's just not going to be the challenge with flying. It's like a boat, right? So it's going to be pretty slow. I'd say it's very slow. All right, so here we have. Oh, that's cool. Blast one. I didn't know that. I don't even know if the Max has that. That's kind of cool. So this is the top turret, and then there should be the bottom turret on the other seat as well. But are we able to get to the missile turret? Oh, you know what? The missile turret's going to be the co-pilot. Let's go take a look at that. I haven't taken a look at the missile turret yet. I'm also expecting to see a camera back there. Let's take a look at that. There we go. Enter remote turret. So I'll just go ahead and hit my button for that. Cool. So you do have the missile turret. Is there just one? Okay. Oh, it's so what we're looking at here is that middle camera. There is like a middle camera right below the ramp here. And so you're not actually looking from either one of the two, and it's only 180 degrees, so I can't actually see into the garage. You can see I like that the missiles are tracking, of course. And it is Ignite 2s, and you can go up to 4. Yeah, standard fare. Yeah, so 12 missiles. And again, you're seeing out the middle, which, you know, if I get time, I'll take a look back out there again. But essentially up the top in the middle, above the hangar, or not above the ramp there is where you're looking at. All right, back through, and we'll get to the crew quarters back here. So very impressed with this as well. I just think it's a much better use of the space compared to what's going on in the Max. The kitchen seems to be relatively the same size, which is interesting. Obviously, it's on the opposite side of the room. compared to the other, but you still have like bench seating here, which is fine. Here's the weapon rack that I missed before. I don't even know if it's really seeable in the other video, but it is the weapon rack nonetheless. Let's take a look at the bathroom. So there's two of these bathrooms. They do have working mirrors, which is cool, minus my head. I'm the headless horseman. But yeah, definitely impressive. It's the bathroom shower combo. Although a bit of a better one than something like... So in the Polaris, it doesn't have this light here. It's just like a shower up here. So this one actually allows you to just take a shower here. And then there's the bathroom as well. So decent bathroom. Again, cool. I like to see when they always get the mirrors working, because that's not a given these days. Like some of the ships that have come out are newer, still don't have those mirrors working. So I did put a hodgepodge of guns in here. I don't know if the shotgun's considered heavy gun. I guess it must be, because it's here on the heavy side here. You've got a spot for pistols. Now, because it's going to be 4.1.1, no one's going to carry a pistol anymore. Rest in peace. But maybe you'll bring one along with you in your ship and then yet never use them. Yeah. So you can just retract that, put that back. I just put a hodgepodge again of different weapons in there. So pretty cool. Here is the other 8 lockers I was mentioning before, as well as just generally the beds. So there's a lot of beds in here, right? So unlike the escape pods, where it was just enough for the 4 crew, you have the 4 crew plus a couple extra. So if you wanted to, you can have people sleep in here, take turns if they need to. Obviously not enough for the total 8 jump seat. Actually, that's not true. Yeah, there's 8. Well, that's yeah. So there's a lot more jump seats than there is room for people. But locker-wise, again, you have the 650 here. So that's why when I added up I multiplied those 18. There's 8 here. There's 8 in the seats or below the seats. That would be 16. And then the extra 18 are in the medical area. So that's where I got 18 of these 65% of 1 SCUs, which came out to just under 12 SCUs, which, again, I'm fairly impressed with. I don't know if there's any storage in here. I doubt it. But that's still tons of ship storage. You can put a fair amount of stuff in there. So, like, for example, let's see if I want to put... Let's say I want to put a weapon in here. I've got an extra weapon on me. Oops. Wow. Yeah, can I get a whole, like, suit of stuff in here? I can. And then some. Wow. I actually didn't think it would fit that well in here. So, yeah. Now I don't have a suit, but I've got everything in here that would... And it's not... They're not even empty. Well, the backpack's fairly empty, right? But 33%, less than 33%, I've got extra gun in here as well. So impressive. That's where, again, that impressive storage. So tons of looting you can do, and then store it wherever you want in the ship. I mean, I'm fairly impressed with that storage there. This is not a door like I'd hoped it would be. So this is the section where I mentioned, I get it. Someone had made the comment that yes, this could be pressurized, whereas the hangar will not be pressurized. But I would much rather this whole section be a hangar. And then allow it to be pressurized or unpressurized. I mean, there's some challenges with that. So these are going to be the doors that you take to get down from the garage. I just like to call it the garage. That ramp down there. There's one on each side. So we're on the opposite side so the garage is right below us right here, and it's the Furies are on each side. So let's take a look in here. I tried to get a C8R in here. It doesn't fit. So because of these bars, it makes it quite a challenge to get anything to fit in here. Seeing it now, well, no. So there's only this much room on each side. So something like this, the C8 is not going to happen. And now I can't get it out of here because I've got the ramp in a way that, yeah, it's not getting in here, and I'm not getting it out of here. So again, it's largely because of these bars and this here, right? So if they just decided to lower this at the lower level, like there's no reason to have these stairs, just lower it down here and make it this whole room. You could maybe get the C8R in here. They would also have to make the door wider, which they easily could do. There's like sides here. So they just made this as smaller than it needed to be just to make it small. Just so only a Fury and maybe something like you can get some hover bikes and stuff in here. But they made this unnecessarily small, where again, no reason they can't take it all the way to this door. I mean, I have to take a look on the outside, but I can't imagine there's a reason why. Now, there may be a turret up here, so I may be speaking a bit out of turn. I have to take a look at where the turret's at. We'll take a look at that at the end. But let's get into engineering, and then we'll go back at the front and look at the turret. So you got a couple components here. You have two size 3s instead of just the standard one, which is nice. And then you get power plant, and then you got your jump drive. So standard fare, the engineering slightly different, because I feel like these engines come all the way up. Maybe they don't quite come that far. Again, I don't spend a lot of time in the Max, but I feel like it seems a little bit different here. Like there's a slight variation, but people will let me know if it's the exact same. I feel like even the engines look a bit different. I think they're blue, and these ones are more orange. Anyways, I think just the hangar, like, make this hallway super thin possibly, but even if, again, if you were to just redo this room, I would love to see it come all the way here. Like, there's no reason not to have it come all the way here, and ideally open up. Even if it didn't open up as much, it's not the opening that causes the problem with this, obviously, because I mean, it does. Like, it needs to come a bit out more, and I'm not seeing a turret right there. So I don't think it's the turret that's in the way. I think it's just straight up. Let's go take a look. We'll go to the front. I know I'm belaboring this, so if that's all you wanted to see, thanks for checking it out. But I just kind of wanted to explore this, like, why the hangar. Like, I still think that there's plenty of room in there for the hangar, and I don't know why they did this. Why you do this to me. So let's see where we're at with this turret. This is the top turret. I think it's pretty far up front, to be completely honest. Yeah, it's more than up enough. So there's plenty of room back there to make. Let's hop in the main pilot seat. So it's not the turret in the way. It's just strictly their decision to make that artificially smaller than it needs to be. And I'd say by a fair amount. They decided not to make it as deep because, again, they don't have to have that platform there. It's fairly artificial. Okay, so I guess you take that, whatever that thing is on the back there, if it's like a radar or something, take that off or move it in front of. But if you move that in front, that fixes that problem, I think, altogether. And even then, you probably don't need to take that off. You probably could just make that hangar slightly bigger. So, yeah. Oh, I didn't realize both turrets were on top. I thought one was on the bottom. Again, shows how much I spent time in the Max. I am looking forward to being a bit in this a bit more. This is the tan paint they had available. I imagine they will probably offer a few more paints as well during Invictus, but thanks for checking out the video. Again, I just could not get the C8R in. I know someone wants to put like a Razor in here. I don't know. I don't know if I see the room for it. It's probably not going to happen, but I'm not here to be a party pooper. I think the C8R actually fits in the garage anyway, so if you wanted to just put it down below, you could. I just wanted to see if something else would fit in it. So for me, I would need to get another Fury, just buy it in game, and put 3 Furies in this. I put 2 in the bottom, and I put 1 in the top. And you already have the medical bed, so I don't need to bring a Nursa. Possibly, if you wanted a ground vehicle, this is actually a good point for the MTC. It probably would be able to fit. Let me just, out of complete curiosity, see if I have access to the MTC. I don't think I do. I think I cut it here, and if I have access to the MTC, I will put that in the garage here, but I think I probably don't have access to it. Anyways, thank you all for checking the video. I appreciate those taking time to like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.